Welcome to the Shine Your Light, Reach Your Best podcast. I'm your host, Claire Thomas. I'm on a mission to support women who feel stuck, unfulfilled and disempowered to have a successful, fulfilled, soul-led life. I guide women to reawaken their unique power so they can shine their light and reach their best. Whether you know it or not, you are an incredible, unique and powerful being, and you are here for a reason. Don't let it go to waste. This podcast is designed to support and enrich the Shine Your Light, Reach Your Best self-development coaching cards. If you have a deck, then I thank you for helping me to shine my own light. And if you haven't, then follow the link in the show notes and head on over to my website to get your deck. It will be the best, most loved investment you make this year. But for now, sit back, relax, and let's work out how to shine all our lights brightly. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 9 of the Shine Your Light podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I am on my own today after last week's episode where I had Emily Hammond joining me, which was wonderful. Please excuse the croakiness. I am still a little bit full of cold, but that doesn't stop me. Actually, it has made me slow down, and that is good. But I'm keen to be consistent with my podcast. So here I am, and delighted to be here. I was just bopping along to my intro music. And I know I need to make it shorter, but at the same time, it's kind of a nice little warm up for me as I come on to share whatever I'm going to share in today's episode. As you may know, I don't pre-script this. I have a general idea of a theme, but it's all about going with the flow and speaking my truth, helping you get to know me so that you can understand who I am, what I'm about. And that's what this podcast's aim is. If you listened to the Mindful Monday session that I did this week, you will know that this week's card is this one, which has a beautiful pink dahlia on the front. And it says on the bottom, creativity lies in each of us. I wonder if that is something that you believe or not. Some of us don't believe that we are creative, but I believe that we all have a form of creativity in us. And sometimes it's what our definition of creativity is. Creativity doesn't mean necessarily that you are an artist and you can sit down and draw an incredible likeness of somebody. Creativity can be working in a business environment. I found this when I was working as a strategy consultant, that my creativity was able to come through in my problem solving and coming up with solutions to problems that were a little bit off the wall and creative. And they were always really well received. At the time, I didn't realize that's how I was getting my creative fix. But as I look back, I can definitely see that's how it was. So what are you doing in your life that brings you a little bit of that creative joy? I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully you're watching this on video because it will be a little more boring. If not, but you'll have to use your imagination. I wanted to share with you one of my creative projects because I have so many creative projects that are on the go. I am pretty good at completing them, but some of them evolve, some of them turn into different things. So I'm going to share that with you today. I started just over maybe a year ago or more. I went on a creative day with a group of ladies from my upholstery class. We all like creative things, and we were really interested in learning a bit more about the Japanese sewing technique called sashiko. So we went on a session and I really enjoyed it. This is the little sampler that I made on that day. It's pretty basic, but it was supposed to be like rays of light coming. This is like an applique piece of fabric that is attached onto it, and it's quite simple. And I thought this would be a really useful activity to do when I go away, because I love doing things with denim. I love upcycling my old pairs of jeans, and any jeans that I get donated. I seem to have a good number of those. So I bought a book on sashiko, and last summer when we went away, I prepared in advance. I cut up all my jeans into little squares. Let me see if I can find one that hasn't got anything on it. No, I haven't. Cut them up into little squares this size, and marked them out with chalk pens. And the book has 365 different patterns you can do. The idea being that over the course of a year, you do a different pattern a day, and then you can make those into a quilt. And I loved doing that. And I'll show some of the different patterns that I came up with. You can still see the chalk marks on them, but they just wash off or fade with time. Some of them have a little bit of weaving in them, like this one. Experimented with some different colour threads. I think the white actually does show up the best, to be fair, on the denim. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing them. And it was really, really good fun. It would take about an hour, the whole process of drawing it out and getting used to the stitches, making mistakes because I wasn't concentrating. But I had a whole collection of them. Before I go on to the next part, I'll just show you as well. I had a go at doing some on a pair of jeans. So this is an old pair of jeans of one of my daughters. So you can see some really cool details there on the pockets and the on the back yoke. And then here it's also a technique that you could use to stitch up a hole. And there's another one here, which was like an applique patch as well. So I think they look pretty cool, and that was really good fun to do. But I had all of these squares, and I knew that it was probably not going to be something that was going to turn into a whole quilt, because that I really couldn't keep up the pace of 365 days of it. So I went on another course with my upholstery teacher to make a French mattress cushion. So this is a French mattress cushion. If you won't have seen one that looks like this before. I like to think this is pretty unique, mainly because I made it, but this one is made out of lots of old pairs of jeans. You can see the jeans pocket here still intact. I've used a part of the waistband as the handle. And it's a really fun upholstery project to do this one. It doesn't take that many hours to make one. And what a great way to upcycle old pairs of jeans. I loved it that I had enough grey pairs here to be able to do this one. Even made these little pink tufts, right on brand, aren't they? Out of some thread as well. So then I had the idea of sitting on this on the garden bench. Is so comfortable. It's unbelievable. It's really nice and squashy. And I love sitting on the bench in the garden when the sun is shining. It really is something that brings me joy, just sitting there and looking at the garden and what's going on. Maybe having a chat with my husband if I'm sitting there, or with one of the girls, or listening to a book, or just sitting there with the dog, to be honest. And I thought, it would be nice if I could do a bench that a cushion that covered the whole width of the bench, which I believe is about 3 times the size of the one I just showed you. And then I thought, well, if it was going to be one that's that big, it's quite a big bulky thing to bring in when it rains, because let's be honest, it is going to rain at some point, and I don't really want it to be left outside. It would probably get pretty moldy. So I thought, what if I could make one that kind of folded itself up into thirds, and they could all sit on each other. So it would be the one that's mega thick, or a long, thin one, flatter one. And then I thought, what if I use my sashiko squares to do that? So on to the next bit of thing to show you. I have quilted together some of my different sashiko designs into, it's really hard with the camera to work out how to hold this, but that's 1/3 of it. And then this piece is obviously much, much bigger. Look at that. How cool is that? I think it's going to look awesome when it's done. This is a darker denim around the edge. And then on the underside, I've literally just thrown together bits of jeans just to create a flat piece of material. So that is all going to turn out to be an incredible, unique cushion that folds up. One thing I still need to do is work out how, when it's folded, that I use some of those waistbands to be able to just button it together so it doesn't open up on its own, makes it a bit more portable. So you can see that from that, it's a process of evolution. These ideas, they start as a seed and they grow and they grow and they evolve. And isn't this how all the greatest ideas ever started? They started as something and they just morph. They did some trial and some experimentation. And at the end of it, you end up with something that is beautiful, that you've poured your love and your heart and your soul into. It's a once in a lifetime piece. Nobody else has anything like it. You feel really proud of it. In this case, it's pretty much all upcycled, which has an incredible impact on the environment. So that's really good. I love seeing jeans being used like that because there's so much water that is wasted in the production of jeans, for example. So yeah, I will endeavour to come back and share what this project looks like when I finished it, maybe in a month. Every time I think it's only going to take a little bit of time to complete something, it always takes significantly longer than I thought. So I am learning along that process to be patient as well, which is always an interesting one for me. So I hope that has inspired you, that you can go out there and do something creative. It doesn't matter where you start or how small it is. It could just be something like a square of denim with a few really simple running stitches on it that then evolves into something that is much bigger, more beautiful and more functional. So just spend a few moments today thinking about what brings you joy in that realm of being creative. It could even be, I'm not so much a creative with my words, but it could be that is what your talent is, in finding the right words that can be put together to describe something. It could be that it's around music, that you can put together the sounds that turn into something utterly beautiful. But whatever it is, just relish in that fact that it's unique, it's you, it's about you creating, and it just really fills you up from the inside when you can create like that. So I hope that has been inspiring. I'm going to leave it there, leave my throat a little bit. Hopefully next week you will hear me with a lot less congestion in my face, shall we say. Thank you very much for joining me. I wish you a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Shine Your Light, Reach Your Best podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, so please follow the show. I'd love you to like, comment and share this episode with anyone else whose light needs some help shining. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm open to having guests on my podcast. So if you would like to share your story, please send me an email to claire@reachingmybest.com or click on the link in the show notes. So for now, keep shining and reaching for your best.